of football career, you kind of take on an identity. I'm a quarterback. I'm a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a DN right now?
I do. This is, something that I've become molded into over these last 2 years, and I'm looking to be great at this position. So, I do.
When you were a quarterback, and someone came up to you and said you're going to be sacking quarterbacks eventually here, what would you have thought of that?
At the time, I probably have been like, man, that's kind of crazy. But, everything happens for a reason, so.
Dominique, you described yourself last week as still very raw.
Yep.
What for you think are the biggest keys to getting through that process as soon as possible?
Honestly, getting in here and doing this and getting back into football, like I've been doing football at home, over this long period until I got here. But, when you get here and you get into things, it's kind of different. You still got to learn. So yesterday was a good day for me. It was solid, I'll say. I'm looking to be better today, so the reps count.
Yeah. One of the other things you said is just learning to get in the stance and generate power.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit, just the initial?
So me saying that was based on my 2020 season, which was a COVID season, which was my first season. I wasn't in a great stance to generate enough power to play every down. So I ended up having to change my stance, which was what, came out in the 2021 season, this past season.
Who identified that and then helped you work on that?
I did. After so many games of not performing the way I wanted, I was looking at other people on my team who were in better stances, and then I just mimicked what they did.
How did you have to change your body composition or your weight from going from a quarterback to a wide receiver to a defensive end?
Yeah, so I came in at, I think, 220. My freshman year, I graduated early, came in. I got up to 234 for wide receiver, and then about midway through 2019, I met with a nutritionist to start learning how to gain weight, good weight, and by 2020 season, I was up to 252.
How did you do that? I mean, good weight, but how did you?
It was 5 meals a day, 3 main meals, and then 2 kind of healthy fat meals like yogurt, adding like oil, just tiny things like adding oil and guacamole to salad and things like that, those healthy fats that, kind of put on a little bit.
As you kind of grow into this position, will you take an approach, or have your coach talk to you about taking an approach to kind of just highlight what you do well? If that's been in the corner, if that's speed rush, just focus on that, do that. Everything else will come later, or are you trying to take on it all at once and try to get better at everything?
So I'm trying to break it into pieces. So I really wanted to focus on my pass rush coming into, moving into the position, because I knew that was what would get me to this point. And then I focused on, the running game like 2021, that season, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to get here unless I had that with the pass rush. So I'm kind of trying to take it in pieces. Like right now I'm trying to get back to working on run game because that's kind of what we're doing more. So.
One of the Bears scouts last week said Central Michigan game stood out to him. What do you remember about that game? Is there a play or two from that game that come immediately to mind?
Yeah, so I had a few good rushes against both of those tackles, Raymond and Goldkey. Those, both of those guys got drafted, I believe. And I had a good, game against them in the run game, too. I hurt my back on one of my good pass rushes going into the second half, or literally right before halftime. So I tried to play in the second half and, just wasn't as good as it should have been. But, when you're a football player, you try to stick things out.
When you were a receiver, what told you that you could be successful as a pass rusher? I mean, what did you see that made you think I can do that?
So the story behind that was my boy Jamal Davis. We went to the same high school. He ended up going to Akron and Pitt, and he got drafted. And we played Akron one year, and I took a picture with him, and all my boys was like, "You know him?" Like, because he's, we kind of built the same. And they like, man, ever since then, they was like, bro, you might as well move over to defense. So it had always been in the back of my head. And then I'm watching the 2019 season. I'm going through the 2019 season at wide receiver. It wasn't going my way. So I'm watching, I love watching college football, so I'm watching Chase Young just run around people. So I'm like, man, if I can't do that, it's something wrong with me. So that's what kind of pushed me to do that.
For the coaches at Miami, like, I know that when you said you watched the 19 season, you realized, like, my way to see the field's defense. Were they open to that idea right away, or was that something you didn't sell them on?
Yeah, so I texted after our MAC championship game. I, waited a couple of days, and I texted my head coach, texted my positional coach, and I wanted to meet with them. And I went into the head coach's room, and I was just like, I want to move the defensive end. And he was like, oh, man. I felt like he thought I was probably going to transfer after getting to the portal or anything, but nah, he was wide open to it. He offered that, and he said he was also thinking about moving me to like an H, so like a tight end, but that wasn't a good spot for me at the time.
Did you have thoughts of transferring, trying to play offense somewhere else?
I felt Miami was my only offer. Coach Martin gave me my only opportunity, and I didn't want nobody else to have my talent.
Dominique, that's a really high-level academic school.
Right.
Did you get your degree in psychology from there?
I did. I graduated in 2019. I started my master's a couple semesters ago, so I'm 4 classes out. I'll probably finish it sometime soon here. We'll see.
How did you manage all of that with more than a full-time job?
It was it's a lot more easy than you think. My social life is, I'm married now too, so I've been talking to the same girl ever since freshman year, and I don't have much of a social life. I don't like going out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So, doing work was not hard. Sometimes it was a little tough getting the work done. You got roommates and stuff like that, but it was easy to manage. It wasn't nothing crazy.
Can I finish that question, please? Do you have aspirations in that field?
I do. After the playing is over, I plan on getting back into the school systems, doing some high school counseling.
So what's your experience been like so far here?
So far, man, this is my second time being in Chicago. This is my first time being here. I'm loving it, man. Everything is here. I don't have to go anywhere to grab food. It's right here. I'm eating healthy and stuff, so it's great. Can't complain.
What are your first impressions of Jaquan Brisker?
Man, I would say everybody in this class are great people. During our little photos and stuff yesterday, I kind of got to dap them up and meet everybody. I've been seeing everybody, but it was my first time where I've been able to see everybody in the group. And they all are good people, good characters. So
You're part of a defensive draft class that has 4 defensive players. It's
Right.
all new staff, especially all the defensive coaches, even though a lot of them were together in Indy. Does it kind of feel good knowing that you're starting out with a group that's also starting out?
yeah, honestly, it doesn't even feel like that. It feels like these guys have been together for a little while now. So, kudos to them for taking in what is trying to be taught here and what they're trying to prove. So.
Yeah.